time in Nelsonville. The City Council plans to look at 2 ordinances before a key deadline. We have the latest as the city transitions to a new form of government.
What the Department of Agriculture is doing to stop the increasing number of bird flu cases in Ohio.
And in sports, Ohio basketball has a big game against Toledo tonight. Newswatch starts right now. Nelsonville City Council is set to meet in a special session tonight as officials race against the clock to complete a major step in transition to a new form of government. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Reese Thompson.
And I'm Sullivan Beach. Welcome to Newswatch. Newswatch reporter Haley Hollinger has been following this story closely, and she now joins us live from Nelsonville.
Haley, sources are telling us we could see 2 major ordinances up for discussion tonight. What can you tell us?
Reese and Sully, what's on the table tonight is an ordinance creating wards in the city and another amending the city's charter to transition the city's government. Starting with the first ordinance, if approved, it would adopt 4 wards drawn by the Athens County Board of Elections. The council originally was under the impression they could not establish wards. A representative from the League of Women's Voters is said to be in attendance tonight to help provide insight on the issue. It is still unclear whether this is under the council's jurisdiction or if the Board of Elections lines would be satisfactory as wards. As for the other ordinance up tonight, it would reform the city government under the charter. Most importantly, changing the city manager position to a mayor. If the ordinance is approved by council, voters could see it on the ballot in May. Now, there are concerns with both ordinances legally and logistically, and we expect to hear more discussion on those questions tonight. Reporting live for Newswatch, I'm Haley Hollinger in Nelsonville.
Thanks, Haley. This is just the latest development in a long saga of stories surrounding Nelsonville city government. For more on this and the latest news across the region, head to our website, WOUB.org, or download the WOUB app. Taking a look at the weather, it was a pretty warm day here in Southeast Ohio. Forecaster Lexi Bell-Polsey is here in the Weather Center. Lexi, after a number of weeks of snow on the ground, we are starting to see some grass, finally.
Yeah, no, currently here it's actually 42 degrees with some clear skies and winds from our southwest at about 6 miles per hour. We do have that wind chill of about 38 degrees right now. Now, we haven't really seen much cloud cover today. We did see some spotty clouds in and out, but we do have a little bit more of a consistent cloud cover to our north, and that is because of a cold front that's actually going to be making its way through our area tomorrow mid-afternoon, but we'll get more into how that will be affecting us later on in the show. Now today we did have some mostly sunny skies, but we did exceed our expected high of 44, hitting about 45, almost 46 degrees today. Now tonight we will have that low of 33 with mostly clear skies, and with some melting and we're getting a little bit close to that freezing point, we can expect a little bit of slick conditions, not as bad as after that cold front comes through tomorrow, but we'll get more into that later, and tomorrow's sunrise being at 7:36 a.m.
Ohio is leading the nation in causes of the bird flu. Give me 1 second. Well, our teleprompter's back. As the second largest producer of eggs in the country, that could be a big hit to the state. So far, 6 million cases have been reported in the commercial poultry operations across the state, and new test numbers are still rolling in. A majority of cases are coming out of Darke and Mercer counties in western Ohio. Ohio Department of Agriculture is working with federal authorities and farmers to take steps to stop the spread of illness. Employees at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have been told to stop communicating with the World Health Organization. Trump's January 20th executive order withdrew the U.S. from the WHO. The U.S. is one of the organization's largest funders. Federal law requires 1 year of notice before eliminating U.S. support for the WHO. Trump's order claims legal notice was given during his first term in 2020, so withdrawal can happen immediately. There is a concern that a lack of international coordination on public health could be dangerous.
Human trafficking happens everywhere. That's what Attorney General Dave Yost says. And to stop human trafficking in Ohio, the state is teaming up with the groups Truckers Against Trafficking and Travel Centers of America. This new partnership will train workers to identify potential victims of trafficking. See something, say something if you know or someone you know is a victim of human trafficking. You can call the state's human trafficking hotline number on the screen.
Hocking Hills Complex receives a major tax credit from the state to redevelop land near Lake Logan. Governor Mike DeWine announced a $5.2 million tax credit. The total cost of this 20-acre project is almost $55 million. The new complex will transform into a mixed-use development with amenities for residents and visitors. The site will feature office, retail, and residential units, fresh food markets, and housing to keep up with the increasing tourism in the area. East Palestine and Norfolk Southern announced a multi-million-dollar settlement. The new $22 million settlement resolves all of the village's claims from the 2023's train derailment in the village. The money will be used for priorities in the village identifies in connection with the derailment. Norfolk Southern has previously paid $13.5 million to the village to pay for upgrades to the water treatment plant and replace police and fire equipment, among other things. In a statement, the train company reaffirmed committing $25 million to ongoing improvements to East Palestine City Park in addition to this settlement. A federal judge temporarily blocks President Trump's executive order freezing all federal grants and loans just minutes before it was set to go into effect. The pause aimed to target programs addressed in President Trump's recent executive orders. The administration says that it includes funds for immigration, foreign aid, and climate programs. Social Security, Medicaid benefits, and assistance provided directly to individuals would not be impacted. Money for small businesses, farmers, Pell Grants, and Head Start programs will not be withheld. Several nonprofits filed lawsuit against the freeze. They claim the pause in funding would keep some organizations from paying their employees and other obligations. The judge's pause on the order will remain in place until Monday.
District 94 Representative Kevin Ritter begins his new term in the Ohio House, and plans to make multiple improvements are in the area of legislation. Ritter is appointed to 3 education committees, the Energy Committee and Finance Committee. He is especially excited about being on the Finance Committee because it deals with every aspect of the budget. With granted money, Ritter wants to improve housing to attract people working in supportive positions for large corporate companies in surrounding cities.
But that large business needs support services. So the IT people, all the people that work in that industry, we're just an hour away.
Ritter explained exampled Intel, a computer processing company in Columbus, as well as a new multi-million-dollar hospital being built in Belpre will bring more people to the area. So getting their tax dollars is essential to make the District of 95 expand. The return to office debate is now front and center with the recent signing of an executive order bringing federal workers back to office. This, as the White House now says, federal workers who don't want to return will be offered buyouts. Karen Kafa takes a look at some of the recent trends and challenges surrounding the move.
When it comes to facing return to office mandates, federal employees aren't alone in 2025. The Pew Research Center recently found the number of employees expected in person at the office a certain number of days per week or month has grown since early 2023, while a majority of workers surveyed still prefer a hybrid arrangement.
It's the work-life balance that comes with being able to work from home, being able to have a hybrid work environment that's really appealing to workers.
Kim Parker, director of Pew's Social Trends Research, says women especially cite potential challenges of returning to the office full time.
We did find that women were a little more likely than men to say that they would probably leave their job if they no longer had the option of working at home. And we know from our prior research that the caregiving burden does fall more heavily on women.
Sarah Perry, a professor of management at Baylor University, says employers should be specific about any major switch in policy.
The reasons why, what we're hoping to get out of it, and how we're going to do this. How's it going to look? How are we going to take care of you in the midst of this? So what are the types of flexibility that you'll still have?
And employees should inquire about any new lines between time on and time off.
Employees should trigger these conversations so that they are had. What are the expectations now as a team, as coworkers? Are we going to respond to emails at night? Are we going to try to maybe build better boundaries back in?
In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Federal workers who accept the buyout will need to resign by February 6th and will receive servants paid through September 30th.
Coming up, how you can make the most of your savings.
And how you can keep your kids active in the cold.
And we do have a cold front coming in, but how will that affect our weather going into our midweek? We'll find out when Newswatch returns.
Migration is freedom to Black America.
African American migration was one of the most significant demographic transformations in the history of the United States.
If there's a Black American dream, it's to have the freedom to dream.
That decision to migrate, if that's not transformative, I don't know what is.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, magical moments in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Harry Keller was like the OG magician and like an idol to Harry Houdini.
For this to be carved out of wood, it's mind-blowing.
It comes apart.
That's amazing. That is so great. I loved it.
I'm glad you think it's as cool as I do.
Because it's 3 rings in 1.
It's Antiques Roadshow. Next time from Springs Preserve.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
This is you on the cusp of your next chapter.
It's a passageway into something new.
It just seeps into you.
It's a groundbreaking moment.
We can make it ours.
We're coming out hot. We're starting here. It's definitely going to be a treat for their palate.
What a story.
She had the imagination of a genius.
Each time I go up there, it's the sense of newness.
3, 2, 1.
Showtime.
We're all running.
It's beautiful.
Cherish every moment. Continue to laugh.
We hope you'll join us.
There is no going back.
It's time for a new beginning.
Good evening, Athens. Currently here is 42 degrees with clear skies, and we do have some winds from our southwest of about 6 miles per hour, and that wind is causing us to have a little bit of a wind chill of about 38 degrees. But overall, pretty decent day out today. Now, we do have a bit of a cold front making its way through. Likely tomorrow afternoon. Now, it's not going to be as strong. It's not going to be crazy. We're not going to get back into the negatives like we were last week, but it is expected to drop us off a little bit when it comes to our high temperature tomorrow, which is a little unfortunate because it's supposed to be pretty warm, but I'll take it. Currently across the board, Lancaster, you're at 42, Newark, you're at 40, New Philadelphia at 39, and Zanesville, you're at 44, Parkersburg also at 44. Now, all across Southeast Ohio, we're seeing current conditions in about the low to mid 40s. So overall, way better than last week. Now today we did have mostly sunny skies with an expected high of 44, but we did bump that a little bit by getting to about 45, almost 46 today, with a low of 33. Now tonight we will have that low of 33 in clear conditions. Because of those clear conditions, that low of 33 might hit about 32, 31. So do be aware, because we do have some snow melt on parking lots and walkways, and I'll get that more into that in a second, because tomorrow we have a low of 23, but we also have a high of 46, which will be very nice, and a partly sunny skies. But with that low of 23, again, we are going to have a bit of a freeze happen with our snow melt due to our higher temperatures. So do be aware if you're walking in the parking lot or on a walkway walking your dog, it might be a little slick. Now we can see that a little bit better with our surface analysis. Now tomorrow we'll have that cold front make its way through, and we have a little bit of high pressure over here that's kind of pushing it out of our area, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to get out of it at all. Now that high pressure is going to take account tomorrow night. We are going to see some lake effect snow into our north, but obviously we don't have to worry about that. And Thursday, we're going to be relatively the same, except we do have some rain coming in from our southwest, and we'll see that a lot better on our 7-day. Now, Thursday night, we are expected to have a bit of a chance of rain, but that's mainly going to be right before midnight as we go into Friday, as we have a 90% chance of rain with a high of 55, and we'll taper off a little bit into Saturday with a little bit more of a low of 41, a high of 41, sorry. But we will shoot back up into the upper 40s and low 50s as we go into our week next week.
It's a critical part of health. Staying active not only helps a person physically, but also gives mental health a boost. But when it comes to children, it can be hard to compete with things like devices and video games, especially when the temperatures dip low. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has ways to keep kids active even when it's cold outside.
When the weather gets colder, the body's need for physical activity doesn't take a break. All year long, experts recommend children 3 to 5 stay active throughout the day, and those ages 6 to 17 should be moving for at least 60 minutes every day.
Being active helps our body fight those cells that are going to come in and maybe make us sick. Being active also boosts our mood.
While it's easy to set kids in front of a screen when it's cold outside, limiting time on devices should be something parents do all year long, says Catherine Sherry with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Strong for Life program.
We can read, we can play games, but we also want to take care of our body and we want to get outside.
Getting children outdoors in the winter may be a challenge, so Sherry says to do it as a family and make it fun. For younger kids, play I Spy while going on a walk, or get out and collect nature items to later make a collage. For older kids, race to the next mailbox. If you have to stay inside, Sherry says screens can also be used to promote activity. Check out apps that will get them moving. She says there's also something called competition bingo, where children complete tasks like 20 jumping jacks or making up a 1-minute dance routine in order to win.
Doing things that are fun and enjoyable are going to help our kids want to participate in.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Another one of Trump's Day 1 executive orders is taking effect. Google will comply with President Trump's executive action to rename the Gulf of Mexico. Soon, Google Maps will change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. In a social media post, Google explains it has a long-standing practice of changing names that have been updated in official government sources. The name will change when the government database is updated. Google says only U.S. users will see the name changes. The rest of the world will continue to see the official global names as well. Do you have enough savings to cover a $1,000 emergency? A recent survey suggests fewer than half of Americans would be able to pay for an unexpected bill. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan has tips on bolstering your savings.
When it comes to putting money away, it appears many Americans don't have enough savings.
I think the first thing that people need to do is just to simply make their personal finances a priority.
Bankrate recently surveyed more than 1,000 adults about spending. When asked if they could pay for a $1,000 emergency, only around 41% said they had enough savings to cover a bill like that. 25% said they would put that charge on a credit card, which means that $1,000 bill could be a lot more if you don't pay it off in time due to interest.
That really raises the risk that all of a sudden we have a larger pile of debt that we have to retire, and frankly, there will be another sudden or emergency expense down the road that will only make it more challenging for us to accomplish all of our financial goals.
The most worrisome finding? 27% of adults say they have no emergency savings at all. So how can you make sure you're putting enough money away? Hamrick suggests creating a budget.
We need to identify how much we're paying for things and to isolate some of the things that are either unnecessary or too costly that we can manage from our budget.
First, calculate how much you spend on necessities, housing costs, utilities, food, car payments, phone, internet, and cable costs. Then figure out what you can put into savings. Financial experts recommend having 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in a savings account. Hamrick suggests putting money into a high-yield savings account, which means you'll be making higher interest on that money. But make sure there aren't penalties or time constraints on withdrawals, so you're able to take that money out when you need it most. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Next in sports, Ohio men's basketball has a big one tonight right down here at the Combo against Toledo. Hear from Jeff Bowles and more when we come back.
There are thousands of discoveries.
Wow. This is huge. We are making history.
This is really exciting.
Years of hunting as a team means they each know exactly what's expected.
We didn't realize the magnitude of what we were going to be up against.
How are we going to pull this off?
Wednesday on WOUB.
Imagine reaching a point where your memories start to fade and you have no way of creating new ones.
Being subjected to long-term sensory deprivation.
We were placed in solitary confinement for decades.
Folks inside started thinking about ways to protest.
Let's do a nonviolent act. Let's do a hunger strike.
Monday at 10 on WOUB. For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
Regardless of your stage of life, whether you're starting your first job, getting the keys to a new home, or enjoying retirement, it's never too early or too late to create an estate plan to care for loved ones and support the causes that are meaningful to you. WOUB Public Media is pleased to have partnered with Giving Docs, a free resource for building an estate plan that fits your needs and protects the people and causes you care about. Visit WOUB.org and click the Support tab to get started today.
Welcome back. I'm Grant Kiefer at the Convocation Center. It's a Tuesday night in January, which means college basketball is at the forefront of the sports world. The Convocation Center is going to be on full display. Ohio takes on Toledo, and it's coming off the heels of a thriller on Friday night. With starters A.J. Clayton and Aiden Hadaway out for the foreseeable future, the Bobcats rallied to take down Kent State in the final seconds, but a lot of their struggles in that game cannot carry over to tonight. Toledo has one of the fastest-paced offenses in the entire country, can score at will, and given the Rockets' recent success, Coach Bowles knows it'll be a tall task at hand.
Yeah, I mean, they've been the pillar of, #1 in the league for 4 years. Todd does a great job coaching them. They got great, individual pieces, and the way they play is difficult sometimes to guard. And, it'll be a great test for us, on national TV Tuesday night. We'll take tomorrow off, come back Sunday to prep, and, go from there.
It's been an interesting year in the MAC so far, but Toledo and Ohio have been identical up until this point. Same overall record and same conference record. Both teams' records might be even right now, but this series has been extremely one-sided as of late. Out of the last 10 games, Toledo has won a whopping 9 of those, with the Bobcats' only win coming during the 2021 season. Ohio won the MAC and defeated defending national champion Virginia in the NCAA tournament, but it's a chance for Ohio to end the 6-game skid against the Rockets. Now, in order to win this one, it's going to take a team effort from an already shorthanded team that's been struggling with rebounding without its top 2 rebounders. They were out rebounded 46-28 on Friday against Kent State. Even in a major differential like that, this team knows they can still rally together, pull out a victory.
I mean, like I said earlier, we found a way. We found a way to win. It's crazy numbers, but like I said, towards the end, we made the big plays to win the game. And I think at the end of the day, that's what matters the most, what happens at the end of the game, and we won. So, we don't worry about the numbers, but we won, so I think that's a good thing.
All right, you heard Jeff Bowles say it earlier. This one's on national television tonight on ESPN2. On your main channel guide, yes, the Ohio Bobcats are going to be in the national spotlight, an opportunity this program and this team are not taking for granted.
Yeah, it's great exposure for #1 at university, for our athletic department. Any chance we get to show up the Convocation Center with our students, the crowds that we have, is a bonus for us. So it's great for recruiting. So we're excited about those opportunities.
Tip-off at the friendly confines of the Convocation Center at 7 o'clock tonight, and if you haven't already got the memo, it's on ESPN2. Reporting from the Convocation Center in Athens, Grant Kiefer, WOUB.
Still ahead, a mammal was photographed for the first time in California.
On iconic America.
For people around the world, the Statue of Liberty stands for freedom.
It's a place where many, many, many Americans can trace their history to.
What it's supposed to symbolize is the abolition of slavery, but nobody knows that story.
It's hard to argue that there's a more iconic symbol of America today than the Statue of Liberty.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
Understanding the past gives a sense of the future. This is the first time that anyone has seen this in 2,000 years.
This is amazing.
Well, I'm excited now.
Pompeii is a battle against time.
You think I'm joking, but look at this. It did really happen.
Don't let anybody tell you who you are.
History teaches us to honor the past.
When you look back, you're like, wow, that was pretty special.
This is something that's actually altering the course of history.
You're charged with keeping these stories alive.
Here's to an undisturbed night.
Let's hope.
I just want to be with you.
Would you like me to make you another coffee?
No, that was horrible.
Work is indeed a good distraction from matters of the heart.
A little bit far-fetched, don't you think?
I do like it when the house is full and happy.
So do I.
What time is it? Party time. We can all be together. It's good to be back.
Sunday on WOUB.
A huge moment for the wildlife world was captured on camera. A live Mount Lell shrew has been photographed. According to the California Academy of Sciences, these shrews are the only known mammal species in the state that had previously not been photographed. A wildlife photographer and a couple of student scientists joined forces with the University of California, Berkeley's Museum of Vertebrate Zoology and came up with a plan. They captured a couple of shrews in the eastern Sierra Nevada mountains and took a few photos before setting the creatures free. Shrews have to eat frequently to stay alive due to their high metabolic rate, which means they don't usually last long in traps. That meant the photo session had to go quickly.
A California couple who lost nearly everything in the Eaton fire is already looking forward to the future. That's because Brian McShay had already bought an engagement ring, planning to propose to Stephanie Rayner. McShay was worried that the ring had possibly been destroyed by the fire. But as they were going through the rubble, he found the ring in a charred desk drawer. Soon after finding the ring, he got down on one knee and proposed, and she said yes. No word yet on a wedding date, but McShay and Rayner say they do not want to leave the area.
It has been cold outside, but recently, honestly, I'm not minding it. The weather is going up. It's a little warmer outside, not bundled up. And are we going to be seeing more of these high temperatures in the rest of our week?
Yeah, I mean, if you're considering the low 40s warm, but yeah, I mean, it does feel warm. We are expected to actually warm up to even the 50s as we go into our weekend this weekend. So that's going to be really nice as we go into that.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to warmer temperatures. But that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For all of us here at Newswatch, I'm Reese Thompson.
And I'm Sullivan Beach. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming.
Support comes from Explore Hocking Hills, welcoming guests to the Hocking Hills State Park, providing an antidote to cabin fever with the great outdoors. Multiple cabins and lodges are available for a cozy soft season getaway. Information and details at explorehockingHills.com. Support comes from Visit Athens County. More information can be found at AthensOhio.com. Athens, it's